yesterday we talked about changing mindset when it comes to health. We talked about some body positivity things that was really interesting as well. And secondly, and most importantly, though, mental health plays a big role in this. And you two are first aid providers for that. And I was wondering, I don't know who wants to go first and explain what that means again to us as we continue these conversations about a very important topic.
Well, I will. I'm going to start because I always bring you something. So
good.
pass this around.
Oh, boy.
So this is for you to take to the gym with you because we want you to have healthy minds and bodies, right?
Oh, my goodness.
So that's when you work out. I can see you now just wiping your sweat.
I can't do like this, you know?
You can use it as a rally towel.
Yeah,
You
right.
certainly can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But so that's kind of promoting healthy minds and bodies as we all have our New Year's resolutions, right?
Yeah.
So we're thinking about going to work out, but we also want to take care of our minds. And that's really where mental health first aid comes in. So it teaches anyone. You don't have to be a professional. It teaches anyone. Oh, I love that. It can even be a bib for rib knife.
Upside down, but use your imagination.
No, right.
No.
You're not helping there, Liz. There you go. I
There you
love it.
go.
I love it, yeah.
There you go. Love it. There, I like it. And it says, are you qualified,
Yeah,
right?
are you qualified, right.
So again, mental health
That's
first aid
cool. I
teaches
like that.
anyone how to learn the signs and symptoms of someone who may be struggling with a mental health or substance use challenge and how to reach out and get them help. Because truly we believe everyone wants to help. It's just that awkward conversation, right, about mental health that people are still want to hide it. It has a lot of stigma around it. So we teach you how to literally have those awkward conversations. We know a lot of people right now, even with your EAP programs, some of them are overwhelmed right now. People are reaching out, thank goodness. So even for those that are waiting for services, for the resources, this can help family members be that interim, right, until they can get connected and get into that appointment. So it's really important.
Yeah, it's really
Give
important.
us some examples of some of those questions. Like, what would you ask somebody?
Well, it's just if somebody, so Lewis did a really great job, and I think the first time I role played with him, right?
Yeah.
So again, just let me do a little role playing with you. So
yeah,
tell
love
me
it.
your name again.
I'm Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, how are you today?
I am wonderful.
Awesome.
Should I say that?
Yeah, sure. Well, if you
That's
mean
what
that,
people say,
if you mean
though, sometimes.
so, but do you mind asking me that question back?
How are you?
Yeah, Jacqueline, I'm not doing so good today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are you not feeling well?
Well, like physically I feel good, but mentally, I don't know, maybe it's just maybe it's just time of year, it's kind of cloudy outside, but I don't mind telling you, you look like a nice person. Here
What's
lately,
going on?
I've been really struggling, and it took all I had just to put on my makeup and comb my hair today to get here today. I was glad to see Lewis, but don't mind telling you.
Do you live alone?
Yeah, I have animals.
Oh,
So I'm going to break from that. You did very well. But that's where it's just having that awkward conversation. Most people are like, yeah, well, I would hate to be you right now. And they want to walk away, right? This just kind of has a conversation to say, tell me more about what's going on. And that it's okay to feel that way, right? It's okay to have the blues, right? It's okay to feel that way. But did you know, even if someone said, I'm having thoughts of suicide, to say, well, did you know that thoughts of suicide are very common, but you don't have to act upon them?
Right.
We can get you help. Right?
Right.
Even those tough ones, right? So we do. We actually have those conversations about suicide,
Yeah,
right?
because isn't suicide a concept of dealing with something that's temporary in a very permanent way?
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I think that as a transition, if you can get them help at that point, they won't feel so alone. And a lot of it is because people feel so unloved, right?
Yeah.
And they feel so alone. It's different feeling lonely and alone, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. And we want you to know that, honestly, suicide is preventable. We truly believe that suicide is preventable, that we've just got to reach out. We've got to see those signs and symptoms and get them connected, right? And let them know, again, like you said, that they're not alone.
Well, it helps because we're taught not to talk about it. You never say it.
Absolutely.
You don't put that out in public and say,
Right.
I'm having a bad day or this is bad. You just,
Right.
fine, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Right.
So, let me ask you something,
Yeah.
Louis. Do you go to the gym or do you like to go walking?
I hate it
hiking?
all. It's disgusting.
Hate it all.
I just dislike it intensely. I'm running right now, and it is today. I feel pretty good. I'm feeling my recovery a little bit, but it's hard. It's hard to get back into that. Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But
so-
does anybody here like to go to the gym
No.
and enjoy it?
I love it.
Okay, so my fellow gym patrons, do you go to the gym because you're sick?
No.
No, I go to the gym because I want to stay healthy.
And it makes me feel good.
Right. Okay. So what mental health first aid also does is it helps us expand the notion of you don't just have to go see a professional when you're in crisis, when you're in sick. It can
Right.
also be a prevention.
Yeah.
To speak with a professional to help you sort out some of our mental mess.
Yeah.
Because it gets messy up in there.
Right.
Yes, it's
So can we go out and be honest about, hey, I'm feeling stressed at work. I'm feeling stressed in my relationships. And can I get somebody who's trained to help me work through some of these challenges before they become...
That's a very important point because I know a friend of mine has a gym in town and I've observed people that he trains and it's so incredible because that releases endorphins, and when he manipulates them in a certain way and they do certain exercise over a period of time, I have seen a completely different mindset. They feel a lot more calmer.
Absolutely.
They open up. There's something with physical exercise that releases the emotional and the mental.
It's the movement for mental health.
it's
We're
very
trying to do
important.
that as a corporate wellness, as a
Yeah.
benefit to our employees,
Yeah.
is to offer and different therapies. There's
Yeah.
all sorts of different
Yeah.
outlets that you can do. But
Yeah.
you're right, it's just move a little.
Yeah,
and you
it's
feel,
true
you feel better.
because I've seen people like cry all of a sudden and they're doing some simple stretch or something, and not yoga, but just something. And, you know, I've been talking to them. I say, well, why are you crying, you know? And they're really open and they'll say, oh, gosh, you know, I know, some say, I really don't know.
Yes.
But doing exercise and doing this particular exercise, it's just there's something in me that's just, if you like, purifying my emotions and getting it all out. It's because we are triune, right?
Yes.
And whatever we do in our bodies affects our emotions.
Definitely.
our
And I go
mental
back to
health.
Lewis when he said, you know, I'm really struggling to go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
But what I want you to know and all the listeners to know also is that did you know that 20 minutes a day is healthy for your brain?
Oh,
so
yeah.
can you take a 10-minute walk out? Can we do that for ourselves? Can we take a 10-minute walk out and then 10-minute walk in? 20 minutes a day is healthy for your brain. And Lewis, did I say strenuous exercise?
No, you did not.
Did I? I did not.
No.
So that's very important. I
Right.
did not. So even if you like to garden and you know how you can dig in in
Yeah.
your flower beds, even at that and you're working up a sweat, 20 minutes a day is so healthy for your brain.
And I think that's the other thing too, is that I got sometimes like my coping mechanism is to work, and then go watch TV, and then I realize, why did I watch that? Why did I watch the Vikings show where they just have torture and horrifying things? That's not good for me. I need to watch something else, something positive, something more, noble. So, which that means I go watch Ted Lasso, which is all about mental health.
I love it. I love it.
Have you watched Ted Lasso yet?
I have not.
You need to.
Do I need to watch that?
Have you seen
okay.
it?
I've seen like one episode.
One
Okay,
episode.
I will do. I will.
It's on Apple TV.
All right, I'll do
You need to
that.
binge watch it.
Okay.
First 2 seasons.
Well, everybody kept being that for Halloween, and I didn't know what it was.
Okay.
I know. Well, so it is.
I was like, what is that?
In fact, in the second season, I'll say Ted Lasso is the most important show on TV right now. I'm going to tell it right now for a couple of reasons. One is foul mouthed, which is great. There's a character on there who is remarkable, but it's all about, this is professional athletes dealing with their own mental health crises, which is something that's very apparent in the NBA,
Yes.
particularly in other sports. And you have an overly positive coach who is almost toxic with his positivity.
Right, and he's tamping down his own crisis that
It-
he has.
Right.
He's not talking
Yeah.
about
And so
it.
in the second season, they have a therapist that comes in and to work with the team, and she's very effective. So it's a great thing. Also, I also firmly believe it's also a rewrite of Star Wars. So if you're a Star
Okay.
Wars fan,
Did you see
there-
that, Julie?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Okay.
You did
But
not.
I haven't watched Star Wars.
Okay. Oh.
What?
What?
Hold on, time out. Explain. Pull that microphone over there for a second.
Exactly.
I'm having a mental health crisis now because you have not seen Star Wars.
I have not seen all of them. I've seen parts of them.
Wait a minute. Okay, stand. Hold on a second
You
here.
can't ask me that because I don't know their
You
names.
were born in
The
1979.
one with the gold robot.
1980, right?
Thank
Thank you. I was born in 1980.
Okay,
74.
listen. Okay, all right. 1980.
But thanks for making me stick
1974.
Yeah.
You're like,
So you
okay,
were
I
3
grew
years
up-
old when it came out, so you would have seen it then.
Let me talk about this. I grew up in a household where my dad thought those movies were stupid, so we weren't exposed to them, right?
Oh my gosh.
My dad would still tell you today they're stupid. I bet if
Right.
we called them right now, which I
Yeah.
could do it.
We could tell 'em.
Okay.
But all my friends loved it, and I was like, I don't really get it. And then you don't watch it because
And wait a minute, you're
you know,
married, but
it wasn't easy accessible like it is now. Like,
John
you
and
couldn't
I are
stream
kind
it.
of on the same page on things a lot of
Yeah,
times.
he's traumatized that I haven't seen them.
I'm. Oh my gosh.
And so we did sit down and watch some of them. I get bored sometimes.
Oh.
Okay, so you haven't seen any of them. You're okay. All right.
Okay, the acting is horrible, you guys.
It is terrible. Oh.
I know. And my friends are like, you don't watch it for the acting, Julie. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Isn't that why I
Right.
watch stuff on
Just
TV?
just remember that. Just imagine for a second though, they're acting through something that they have no idea what they're talking about, no idea what
Okay.
they're doing, and it's the 70s.
Okay.
So you've got
So
Carrie Fisher, who.
I've seen some of the first three. I
Yeah.
probably have seen all of them.
Now let me qualify this. So remember
The
that-
first three that came out.
Yes, the
Those
first
are
one-
really
See, I know
good.
enough to know that they're not the order of the books.
Okay.
See, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I've seen the first three that have come
Yes.
out. I just haven't watched them religiously like
Okay.
a majority of the world.
So when you
and then the
Yeah.
newest ones that came out, several of them came out like when I had a young infant,
Yeah,
and I
they
couldn't
didn't-
go
you
to the
didn't- you didn't
theater,
see
so
that.
I
I
just
have a
watched
question
them.
for
Yeah.
do you know who Luke
I
Skywalker's
do.
father is?
Yes, it's Darth Vader.
Okay, I just had
Yes.
to ask that important question. Do you know
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
his
so I know
father
those
is?
things.
Okay.
You know, I know Princess Leia is.
Right.
The pop culture that we need to immerse her in.
Yeah, I
This
know.
is very
Yeah.
I know. This
I know.
is
Trust
is an
me,
intervention,
I probably
people.
have a text right now.
This
from my
is an
husband being like, it's
intervention.
about time.
Yeah. What? Oh my gosh. Sarah
So-
Staines Coleman says she's never seen Star Wars either.
See, Sarah, you're not
Oh,
alone.
boy.
That
You know
was
what?
also an
There's
important message
there's-
today.
I got
I
it. My
love
next
what she
event,
just said. You are not alone.
Star Wars for women. That's what we're gonna do. We're
Okay.
gonna have a viewing
Okay.
party here. We're gonna explain to this.
But I do think you need to tell her, like Ted Lasso. I'm going to go back to Ted Lasso.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
While it is a great show, just know it's done with humor, though.
Okay.
So don't go in thinking you're getting a serious show.
It's
Okay.
also very
But
R-rated.
there's a serious element to
Yeah.
it.
Oh
But
yeah. Absolutely. I think.
I don't want her to think she's going to be sitting down like watching her crying.
One of the things, I actually mentioned this to the chief.
thanks, Julia.
Yeah.
The chief of police. That also it has a lot of leadership lessons in it as well.
Does.
So it's brilliantly written. They're only going to do 3 seasons. So they're going to be another. But the way the second season ends, I'm telling you right now, that is the to me the
comes out pretty soon, right?
yeah the evolution of Darth Vader right there. So,
Oh,
yeah.
see how you wrote that right back in
Yeah,
there.
right back in there.
But the mental health, like
there's
with the
so much-
athletes,
Yeah, right.
that's something that it's okay to talk about now. That's what she's saying.
Yeah. What?
With the athletes
Right.
now. It's
Oh, yeah.
There's a better public forum to talk about
Right.
their issues, and that's what you're giving people with your mental health first aid.
Yeah.
Not only that, but when we have different curriculums as well. But remember, we have our law enforcement, we have our veterans, and there's a lot of things that we just don't want to talk about, right? Because of feeling that weak. And I will say this because I'm going to give a shout out for Hill Country MHDD centers for a second. A lot of people have that stigma around them that, some of the things they get called weak, right? I personally will tell you, I think some of the bravest people I've ever met have taken that step into our clinics to say, I don't want to feel this way anymore. Because we say, if you were, heck, if you had a cold or sore throat, you want it to go away, right? So you go and you get help for that. Why do people wait so long to come forward and get mental health help,
Yep.
right? So we've got to do a better job of educating people. We've got to let them know that it is okay to come forward and say, I'm not feeling okay. It's okay to say my brain's in pain.
Yeah. Right.
It's okay.
Right.
It is okay. And I also want to say this. So there was something that I wanted to bring to the table today. One of the things that we're talking about with our New Year's resolutions is we've got to do a better job of self-care, right? So we talk about
Yeah.
self-care. And I heard this, it was actually something that I listened to in the morning. So I didn't come up with this, but I think it's very worthwhile saying, is that how come all of y'all were looking at your phones, right? When your phone gets low, you panic and go, oh my gosh, did you bring that? I need to charge it up,
Yeah,
right? Did
right,
you bring
right,
yours?
right.
Can I borrow that? Why do we not do the same thing for ourselves when we get low?
Right.
So why don't we do that? So we've got to do a better job. And one of the great things about mental health first aid and one of our new components is our 8 dimensions of wellness, right? So Teresa, tell them about those 8 dimensions of wellness.
All right, so we have to think about our health and our wellness in a little bit different ways. So when the word self-care comes to mind,
Yeah.
what do you think of? What do you enjoy doing?
Not watching Star Wars.
Candy.
Spa day.
Candy.
Spa day, candy.
Okay.
What do you do for self-care?
Probably go to the gym.
Okay.
Go to
Eat
the gym,
well.
eat
Yeah.
well. Okay.
Lewis?
Oh, I eat candy.
Okay.
Yeah.
He eats candy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The worst thing possible.
So, the truth is all of those things are part of self-care. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of other people might say, oh, I go hunting, I go fishing, I go running, I do gardening, I go to the spa, I get a massage. And yeah, absolutely. All of those things are 100% self-care. But when we talk about self-care in mental health first aid, we expand upon it and we talk about 8 dimensions of wellness that contribute to the whole of the person. And those include thinking about our environment, our physical well-being, emotional well-being, intellectual well-being, occupational, spiritual, community, and financial. Those are the 8 dimensions of wellness that contribute to how do I keep myself being the best version of myself.
And that's probably some are more out than others. Like
Absolutely.
you may be doing well in your physical, but in your emotional, you're not
Yeah.
doing so good. Or your financial is not doing as well as it should be.
Right. So our program actually we have what we ask everybody to do is a self-care action plan. And so it has all those 8 dimensions of wellness listed. And we ask them, when you leave this program today, will you do something? There's never a better time than right now. It's the beginning still of 2023. Let's stop and let's look at these 8 dimensions and each one of us sit down and be honest with ourselves and let's tweak them just a little
Right,
bit
right.
to be a better me this year. Or it depends on wherever, if it's our teachers right now, how can we think about this and have a better school year? If it's our jobs, whatever you're doing in your life, how can we tweak this a little bit to have a better, more positive me this year? And we've got to start doing something. So why not today, today is the what? The January the
24th. Right.
Of 2023. Why not today just
Yeah.
sit down and look at those 8 dimensions of wellness and tweak them just a little bit and have a better me this year?
Right. That's a good
Absolutely.
good way to do
You
it.
said why people don't focus more on self-care. I think it's because the majority of people are trying to survive.
Yes.
There's a whole concept of we need to survive, and therefore they don't stop long enough to break that down so that they can see areas that they really do need help.
Exactly. So, Lewis, Lewis, I need y'all. I love to take y'all into my make-believe world, right?
Right.
So can I take y'all into
Yeah,
my make-believe
absolutely,
world?
yeah.
So I want you to think, and for just a moment, and all your listeners, I want to take you into a make-believe world. It's going to be familiar. So, hello, my name is Amy, and I'm going to be your stewardess today, and welcome to Mental Health First Aid Airlines.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you. And wherever you've been wanting to go in the year 2023, I'm taking you there today. So
Okay.
picture that in your mind, right? All right, and I will be serving refreshments throughout a journey, right? But however, if at any time during our journey the cabin has oxygen that's losing its oxygen, there's going to be a mask that's going to drop from the top of the ceiling. I need you to tug on that, and then I need you to do something with it first. What do you do with it first? Do you remember?
Put it on my face.
And then
Didn't help somebody else.
there you go.
Yeah.
Now step out of my make-believe world, and that's what we've got to do for ourselves.
Right. Absolutely. I'll take a ginger ale too, by the way.
You'll take a ginger ale?
Yes.
Absolutely.
What we touch on in mental health first aid is we expand upon it much deeper. But something to think about, because when we think of 8 dimensions, there's 8 dimensions? Yes, there are. However, let's bring it down to size, because we also know that change for human beings is really hard. We have a hard time with change. It's tough. 95% of what we do is ingrained in us, and only 5% changes. So what we ask you to think about is, could you pick maybe one of those dimensions and start there? Maybe a little tweak.
Right.
Maybe I can go to bed a little bit earlier and charge my phone in a different room so I'm not tempted to look at those notifications.
Yes.
It's just those simple things that it's not clinical. We're not gonna make you a mental health professional by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
But what we do want to do is the next time you think about approaching somebody that you see is struggling and you're afraid to say the wrong thing or make the situation worse, what we train people to do is how to have continue those conversations. Keep that message going that, hey, you deserve to feel better. And we want to be that connection.
Right.
We want to be that connector for
And
you.
this is open to everybody. It's not just people who work for MHDD. It's you guys can teach this. It's available to
Everyone.
Everybody.
And the great thing is that we actually oversee state and federal grants. So our state grants are for all of our under SB, our Senate Bill 133, many years ago, and they keep expanding it. We know our legislation's back in office right now. We'll see where they expand it again. But we have state funds, and that's for our educators. So the only thing that we don't cover right now is our private schools, and we're hoping that they'll open that up. So actually, we come in, we can do it free of charge. Basically, if you get a paycheck from that ISD, that university, Shriner, we did many at Shriner this past summer, and we were just there last week doing their incoming educators that are about to graduate. And then we are very fortunate to actually have federal grants, and that's for anybody in our communities. So anyone in our community can have this free of charge.
Nice.
But it's offered in English and Spanish.
And
Yeah,
yes,
Spanish.
Teresa
Right.
does a great job.
Right.
You can do
Right.
it online too.
Yes.
It's probably one of the most important topics we'll ever discuss here, and it's never not interesting to talk about this issue because it's so impactful, for the stuff. I'm going to have some trauma because you've not watched Star Wars, but that's okay. I know. I'm going to have an intervention.
Okay, do you know who Grogu is?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she does have a 4-year-old living at her house.
Watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Does that
See.
help?
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
Then that raised me a little.
Yes. You
But I did a whole lot of. But why is that? Who is that? But that's. Okay.
I had a great story though. I did one time at one of our newspapers. We did a Spanish language Christmas parade simulcast. Right. We had one in English. We had one in Spanish. And one of the ladies who was doing the commentary in Spanish had not seen Star Wars and did not understand the Wookiee.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, and so she was like, in trying to figure out what the heck this thing was in Spanish. All she could come up with
How
is,
would you explain that?
is it Sasquatch? What is this?
Yeah. If
You
you
know,
have no point of reference.
Yeah,
that's
it was
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite videos of all time because it was so hilarious. Because they had a whole Star Wars troop, and then they bring the Wookiee down, and he's like on stilts, and he's like 7 feet tall, and so yeah, it was great. So
So I have enough context to have.
You have enough
conversations
context,
with
right.
people. I've seen enough.
right,
That I know.
but you've seen Ted Lasso though, so now
Who the
now
main people
right.
Are, but
Yeah.
I get confused on like who Darth Maul is and what.
Oh my God! You don't have to worry about that. As long as you know who Carrie, as long as you know who Carrie Fisher is.
And the newer ones.
I'll tell you what though, what's interesting about what's happening in our society now. This is just another aside. Sorry, folks. There's two pop culture things that have happened that show how unhinged we've become as a society. One of them was the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that came out, and it really kind of dove into the Princess Leia story, right? And the misogyny, the misogynistic backlash against that was stunning. And it was like,
I remember you talking about.
yeah, I've talked about it before,
I didn't watch
right?
John did, but
Right, and it was like you're trying to degrade the Luke Skywalker story, and it's like, well, I mean, Luke Skywalker's character, admits that he's not as good as she is, and she's more skilled. I mean, but the misogyny though is unbelievable in our. I'm saying this. I'm surrounded by 5 women, but I mean, it's crazy though. Yeah, I mean, how bad it's become.
you know it's not a real story.
I know.
Thank you, Julie.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
not a real story.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am right about that.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the Lord of the Rings thing that came out on Amazon featured not only a culturally diverse cast, but it also was heavily dominated by female characters. And once again, the misogynistic backlash. There are videos that have millions of views of attacking the women that are in this thing too. So I don't know, that's just another side, another thing that
Yeah,
drives
we
me
could go on
crazy.
another hour.
Oh yeah, all right.
It's a whole different
get you guys back to New Braunfels, where there's like, how many Targets are in New Braunfels now? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
Target.
Yeah.
We have an awesome Target.
And you have a Buc-ee's.
They have Bucky.
Oh,
Yeah.
we have a huge Bucky.
Yeah.
Target in
Yeah.
here?
Yes.
Bucky's.
Yes.
Yeah, Bucky's is always packed.
Absolutely.
There's like 35 Targets between San Antonio and Austin on 35 at least. So,
I don't think they're all in the
It's
same.
about at least an hour and a half.
so all right.
How does someone reach out and
yeah,
find out
exactly.
about getting this straight?
Thank you, Julie. So
Thank you for
I
taking
just
over, Julie.
we'll wrap it up. No,
Thank you.
abs-
No, thank you for taking control of the show after I was ranting and raving about
Thank you, Julie.
misogyny.
I promise I did not pay her to say that, but I'll bring you goodies next time and you goodies next time. No, honestly, you can reach out and you can email aanderson@hillcountry.org, or you can reach out to Mental Health First Aid,
All spelled out.
all spelled out, Mental Health First Aid at hillcountry.org.
Nice.
And if you'll just, the main thing that I need to see in an email when you reach out is to say, I'm from Texas and I'd like to pop into one of your classes. We have adult, we have youth, which is adults assisting adults who are struggling with mental health or substance use challenges. And then we have youth mental health first aid, which is adults assisting youth. And so both of our grants are for Texas residents only.
So if somebody identifies with a specific area, do you have coaches or trainers that actually help them to take the next step on how to get better?
Well, that's where Hill Country MHDD comes in. We can connect them with Hill Country, which again is part of their next step. The main thing, and I want to end with this, there's 4 things we really want people to know that are struggling with mental health or substance use challenges. 4 things. Put them into your pocket, and I hope you remember them. That there is help, there is hope, and there's healing and recovery is possible. And Hill Country is right there and can help them every step of the way in all 4 of those, and letting them know someone's there, that they hear them, and that there is recovery is possible. Yep.
So to put it in Texas terms, you got Jerry Jones money, we want your business.
Yeah. Right.
You got no money,
we want your
we
business.
really want your
Right.
business too.
Right.
Absolutely.
Do you really want Jerry Jones's business though? I mean, he can't seem to put a team in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
I
he
mean,
can afford to own the
That's
Cowboys,
true. That's
so
true.
that was really kind of like the
I got you. He probably needs a little bit of help though after that last game. So
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, we'll get him taken care of. Thank you all for being here as well.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Who else? You know what, Kate? You just need to drag back on your CEO again and your bosses. You bring those people on. Bring them before me, Kate. Bring them before me.
Go with the Star Wars there.
That's
yes,
right.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll be Palpatine, the Emperor. So I'll just. You know.
Yeah.
Just learn who that is.
Good.
There
See.
you go. But we also want you to know, come on, Texas, step up. So we have grant funding for everyone. And we know that Texas is all about don't pollute Texas. Texas, we do not let Texans suffer in silence. So
Yeah.
come on. Let's take the
Right.
course. Let's learn to identify. Let's help people so that nobody's struggling in
I have
silence.
another question.
Yes.
Are the courses only in New Braunfels?
No. 19 counties. I mean,
Okay, you have them
literally,
all over.
like Friday, we will be in Del Rio. We go all the way down to Del Rio.
Call
So
them, they'll go
yeah,
anywhere. In the
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
all we need is an invitation. That's really
Yeah.
that's really truly all that we need. Because let me tell you this, you know, we've heard of the gentleman, and I know nothing of sports and football, so there you go.
I can talk. Okay, all right.
Outrageous. You live in
Outrageous.
Texas.
I know. I'll admit it. But here's the thing, you know, we heard of the young man athlete that had the cardiac arrest from the Buffalo Bills, right? And
Right.
you know, what a promotion for American Heart Association and learning CPR. Amy and I both teach CPR, and I've been in behavioral health almost 20 years, and thankfully I've never ever had to administer CPR to someone, but I'm very confident if I had to, I could. And save somebody. Folks, what we teach you in mental health first aid, ever since I became an instructor and learned many, many moons ago, I use it every day.
Yeah, that's true.
Every day.
Every day.
Well,
That's
and
a-
as she
that's a
said,
really-
MHDD is the next step, and we cover those whole 19 counties.
Right.
And so there's a place to go for help. And so reach out. I mean, it's okay not to be okay. and
It's okay to ask for help.
Ask for help.
Yeah. Right.
And learn the tools, and you will. You'll use them every day in your life, every
Right.
day.
I mean, if Captain Nita had used that on Darth Vader, you know, before he,
Where would we be?
where would we be? Because
I mean, imagine if Darth Vader, when he was Hayden Christensen in
Yeah.
the worst of the sequels,
yeah,
maybe he wouldn't have been Darth
Maybe he
Vader.
wouldn't have been
Maybe
it.
he wouldn't
Right.
have gone to the dark side.
Yeah.
See, that's a
Yeah.
thought.
See, I mean, because his wife couldn't help him. His partner, he needed someone out there to look at him. So, I mean, he had some mental health purveyors that helped him out there. So,
I love the way this has become really powerful.
yeah, right.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
See, this is the power of Star Wars.
Right.
And mental health first.
And mental health first aid.
Right. Yeah, I mean there's actually an interesting story plot there too. It's like you look at it from a perspective of George Lucas wanted a cute kid to play Darth Vader early on, and I was kind of like, I don't know that's necessary. But then he becomes more rebellious and ambitious as he gets older, but it's like I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it seems like that those kind of issues are always underlying, even in children too. But trauma, right? Well, he had trauma, some pretty significant trauma.
Fire.
I mean, and
Well, yeah,
his
that too.
caregivers were decimated.
Yeah,
So, really, Anakin could have used mental health first aid.
Yeah.
An adult, a trusted adult,
right.
could have been taught to be aware of what are those signs and symptoms of when our young people are struggling, which we know that's a fact.
Right.
The Surgeon General's report came out and says our young people are in crisis.
Yeah,
Very bad.
right.
So let's give our parents some tools.
Yeah, and that's the challenge too. Is like why are they in crisis? That's a whole nother conversation. I got some ideas myself, but the messaging, the confusion, the social media pressure, all these things too.
There's so much ready information is coming at them
Yeah.
all at the same time.
Yeah.
They do need
Right.
someone who can help that they can talk to.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think this is Louis, this is also a great opportunity to invite us back whenever.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk about
All
some of
right.
those because
Yeah.
my mind's like, and I'm like, no.